not just by people online having conversations, but even mainstream outlets. Why? Because Tiffany just talked to some fans. No, it was the nature of what was said that caused concern. So we're going to go over to X so you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can get more of my feedback from it.
Tiffany Hayes, veteran guard for the Golden State Valkyries. Friday night, she went back and forth with Caitlin Clark on the basketball court in San Francisco. Trash talk, chirping, normal stuff. Stuff the WNBA tells you every single day is the culture of this league. Now listen carefully, because what happened next is what we're talking about tonight. Tiffany Hayes did not leave it on the court. She took it to social media. She engaged with random fans about a fellow professional player. And when one of those fans offered to send what he called his cousins to ride at dawn on Caitlin Clark, Tiffany Hayes responded with a laughing emoji and the words, "That's real." Let me say that again. A professional WNBA player, on a public account, co-signed a stranger's offer of violence against Caitlin Clark. That happened. That's the story tonight.
Welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. On Friday night, the Indiana Fever played the Golden State Valkyries at Gainbridge. And as you know by now, if for no other reason than I talked about it in my overview video, Tiffany Hayes and Caitlin Clark went back and forth with a little bit of trash talking. And
here is the setup. Friday night at the Chase Center in San Francisco. The Indiana Fever beat the Golden State Valkyries for the first time in franchise history. Caitlin Clark gets the win. Tiffany Hayes gets the loss. And in between, the two of them went at it, talked some junk, got fiery, got passionate. The kind of stuff the WNBA spent the last 2 years telling all of us is the heartbeat of women's basketball. Physical, competitive. Don't be thin-skinned, they said. Clark needs to learn what this league is, they said. Well, Friday night, Caitlin Clark showed them exactly what she learned. She talked back. She smiled while she did it. She walked off the floor with the W. And the WNBA establishment, it immediately changed the rules.
yeah, well, she just gonna have to deal with the physicality and can't be thin-skinned around here. And this is the way we do. And, you know, it's not personal and all. And you watch the games and you see players and they talk their stuff. And somehow that's okay. Now, Caitlin Clark, she was known in Iowa for being feisty, for being fiery, for talking some stuff too. Well, somehow, just judging from the conversation surrounding Friday's game, it's a problem if Caitlin Clark is talking stuff in the WNBA. Is she not a part of the WNBA and the...
Here is the hypocrisy. For 2 solid years, every veteran in this league, every coach, every analyst on ESPN has told Caitlin Clark and every Caitlin Clark fan the same thing. This is the W. This is how we do. Players talk junk. Players get physical. If you can't handle it, get out. Clark was supposed to take her elbows, take her body checks, take her cheap shots, and smile about it. Well, Friday night she did smile. She smiled while she talked back. And suddenly, the league that built its entire identity around toughness turned around and acted like Caitlin Clark had committed a crime. Clark was known in Iowa for being fiery, known in Iowa for talking junk. Now she's in the WNBA, and the same trash talk the league claims to celebrate becomes a scandal the moment she is the one delivering it.
Word out there on the internet streets was that Tiffany Hayes started the chirping with Caitlin, and then Caitlin responded. And then we know throughout the course of the game, it went back and forth and back and forth. I don't know who started what. I just know it went back and forth and back and forth. I didn't see anything that needed to go outside of the basketball court. I didn't see anything so different from Caitlin that you don't see from other players in...
Word on the internet says Tiffany Hayes started the chirping. Clark responded. It went back and forth all game. Nothing left the court. Nobody threw a punch. Nobody grabbed anybody. Nobody was thrown to the floor. 2 grown professional athletes competing at a high level. The way it is supposed to be. Nothing, and I mean nothing, in that game justified what came next. Because here is the thing. Tiffany Hayes lost that game and then went home and got on her phone. And what she did on that phone is the only reason this entire story exists.
And there's some screenshots from Tiffany Hayes' engagement with fans on Threads. So the account holder wrote, "This is pathetic. WNBA players should not be interacting on social media with fans joking about causing player harm." One person says, replying to @TipHayes3, Tiffany Hayes, apparently, "I talk ish because you're never on my teams, but I was ready to support your crash out." Tiffany replies, "LOL, that's fair." Someone else says, "Your composure was much better than mine would have been, I'll tell you that." Tiffany says, "My growth is a gift and a curse, but mostly a gift." Someone else, "We were ready to take up collections if they tried to find you and everything." Tiffany,
Here is what happened. Fans started replying to Tiffany Hayes on Threads. One fan tells her, "I was ready to support your crash out." Tiffany replies, "LOL, that's fair." Another fan tells her, "Your composure was much better than mine would have been." Tiffany replies, "My growth is a gift and a curse, but mostly a gift." Another fan, "We were ready to take up collections if they tried to fine you." Tiffany, "My peeps. Now look, that alone is unprofessional. A grown woman, a paid professional, sitting in a public group chat with strangers laughing about a colleague she just played against. That is Bush League, but that is not the part that has people boiling tonight. The part that has people boiling is what came next. And what came next should have ended with a phone call from the league office before sunrise. And what comes next is the moment that broke this whole thing wide open."
Someone replying to Tiffany says, "Listen, I got some cousins we don't speak about that will ride at dawn upon request. Just let me know. I got you." And then Tiffany responds with laughter emoji, and then "That's real." So what's going on here? Someone is saying, "Look, you want me to get Caitlyn? We got some folk we can call and they'll take care of business." And her response is laughter, and then "That's real."
This is the moment. A fan responds to Tiffany Hayes with the following message. Word for word. "Listen, I got some cousins we don't speak about that will ride at dawn upon request. Just let me know, I got you." Read that one more time. Some cousins we don't speak about will ride at dawn upon request. Just let me know. That is a stranger on the internet offering to send people after Caitlin Clark. That is a threat dressed up as a joke. And here is Tiffany Hayes' response in full. A laughing emoji. And the words, "That's real, make no mistake." Calling a stranger's threat against a colleague real is not banter. It is not heat of the moment. It is not just the way it is in the W. That is a professional athlete giving public approval to a violent fantasy about another player in her own league. That is the story.
No, don't even joke like that. Like, all you have to do is don't even joke like that. That would be the simple way of doing it. Like, you don't have to say, "Don't you know that?" Just, don't even joke like that. We're good. We're good. All in the heat of battle. All good. But that's real? Sounds like you're kind of co-signing on the offer to do some stuff. Now, for those who say, that's taken a little bit too far, I don't think it was all that. Is it going to?
Now I hear the defenders already. It was a joke. Lighten up. She didn't mean anything by it. Okay. Let me ask the question every adult listening to this already knows the answer to. Does Tiffany Hayes know that fan? Does Tiffany Hayes know what kind of person is on the other end of that account? Does Tiffany Hayes know whether that person is harmless, or whether that person is the kind of person who shows up at a hotel lobby in a road city next month? She does not know. None of us know. And that is precisely why a professional on a public account does not type the words "that's real" in response to an offer of violence. You don't do it, you don't joke about it, you don't laugh at it, you shut it down in 3 words. Don't even joke. That's it. That's the whole job. Tiffany Hayes did not do the job.
Not for real. Like, this is what I'm saying. So if I am the commissioner of this league, am I trying to kick Tiffany out of the league? Am I trying to find Tiffany? No, I'm really not. But I have to have a conversation with her, or someone in authority I have to assign to have a conversation with Tiffany. Because you remember, this league has talked about this campaign, No Space for Hate thing. even investigating the Indiana Fever with unfounded allegations that ended up being nothing, but they're like, no space for hate, no space for hate. In a situation like this, I got to have a conversation with my player.
Now, what should the league actually do here? Because remember, this is the same WNBA that ran a multi-week investigation into the Indiana Fever over fan allegations that ended up being nothing. The same league that put out the No Space for Hate campaign with the press conferences and the t-shirts and the graphics. The same league that wants you to believe player safety is sacred. Well, here is the test. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, this one is on your desk. You don't have to fine Tiffany Hayes. You don't have to suspend her. You don't have to make a federal case out of it. You make one phone call. You sit down with your employee and you tell her, if you ever again get on social media and laugh at a stranger offering violence against another player in this league, you will not work in the WNBA again. Period. End of conversation. Because the real story isn't just what happened Friday night. It's what this means for everything coming next.
Hey, I talked about it with Dejanay and with Nalissa when they got on there and had a whole skit and joked about Caitlyn getting poked in the eye and laughed about it. So that's not acceptable. We talked about it with Kennedy Carter when she got on social media after the body check to Caitlyn and said, what does she bring other than threes? And I'm not trying to trash Kennedy. Listen, she's back in the league. She's doing her thing. I'm just bringing it up because I'm telling you, I talked about it then, that getting on social media and talking about another player is unprofessional and therefore should not be tolerated.
And here is the pattern. This is not the first time. Remember last season, Dejanay Carrington and Nalissa Smith got on social media and turned Caitlin Clark getting poked in the eye into a comedy skit. Joked about it, laughed about it, posted it for the world to see. Remember Kennedy Carter, after she body-checked Clark from behind on a dead ball, getting on social media and asking what does Clark bring to this league other than threes? Pattern, pattern, pattern. Every single time, it is Caitlin Clark. Every single time, the WNBA either looks the other way or releases a statement so soft you could fold it into a paper airplane and float it across the room. And every single time, the message to every player in this league is the exact same message. When it is Caitlin Clark, the rules do not apply.
And so as a leader, if I'm the commissioner, I got to have a conversation. I'm not going to make a whole big skeptical about it. I'm not going to fine you. I'm not going to. But listen, don't do it again. Don't get on social media and engaging with fans about a player to the point of even suggesting that she could be in harm in any way. Whether he's joking or not, I don't know. Just don't do it. Again, I saw nothing from the two of them that would go beyond the confines of the basketball court. There was nothing so outrageous where people are like, oh, I would put Caitlyn in her place. Oh, your composure is just, what? Two players, passionate, fiery, wanting to win, going after it. Why does it leave there? Why does it go off the court? Why is it funny when someone suggests, I got some cousins that can ride at dawn? Just don't even entertain it. Don't even joke about it. Player safety, no space for hate, all those things. That's what we're told.
Let me give you 4 angles on the damage Tiffany Hayes did Friday night. Angle 1. The player angle. Every WNBA player who saw that post now knows the league's tolerance window is wider than it has any business being. Angle 2. The fan angle. Every Fever fan who saw that post is now angrier at this league than they were on Friday afternoon. And those fans are the only reason WNBA attendance and ratings are where they are right now. Angle 3. The franchise angle. The Golden State Valkyries are a brand new expansion team, their first season in the league. And one of their veteran players just turned the team's identity into social media chaos instead of basketball. Angle 4. The league angle. Kathy Engelbert spent the entire offseason telling sponsors and television partners that the WNBA has matured. One screenshot from Friday night just lit that narrative on fire. Same incident, 4 layers of damage, and Tiffany Hayes has not said one word about any of it.
I have to say, I can't help but wonder if it were, say, Asia Wilson and she was talking junk with Tiffany Hayes during that game, would that have gone outside of Gainbridge? Would it? If it were, I don't know, Alyssa Thomas, would that have gone outside of Gainbridge? Why with Caitlin? I'm going to let the question sit. Why with Caitlin Clark?
And here is the question every grown person at the league office is afraid to answer out loud. If it had been Aja Wilson talking trash with Tiffany Hayes Friday night, would Tiffany Hayes have gone home and laughed at a fan offering to ride at dawn on Aja Wilson? No, she would not have. If it had been Alyssa Thomas, if it had been Brianna Stewart, if it had been any other star in this league with a national following and a real fan base, would we be having this conversation tonight? No, we would not. Why with Caitlin Clark? Why is it always Caitlin Clark? Why does the trash talk only travel from the court to the phone when Caitlin Clark is on the other end of it? Let that question sit. Let it sit with the league office. Let it sit with Tiffany Hayes, because the rest of us already know the answer. And here is the one thing nobody is talking about. The biggest consequence of all is still coming.
And you got to put your foot down because, again, you got no space for that. There's no room for any of that. I'm big on leadership, and I think this is an area where leaders should step up and just say, no more of that, and then move on. That's that.
Here is the closing take. The Indiana Fever and the Golden State Valkyries play again Thursday. Same building, different temperature. Tiffany Hayes will walk out of that tunnel and into a hostile crowd of her own making. She did not have to. She had every opportunity Friday night to type 4 words. We're good, all love. Instead, she typed 2. That's real. And when a professional WNBA player publicly co-signs a fan threat against a colleague, and the league does nothing about it, every single one of us watching at home learns exactly how serious the WNBA actually is about player safety. So here is the question for the comments. Should Kathy Engelbert force Tiffany Hayes to apologize publicly, or is a private warning enough? Drop your answer right now. Like the video if you think Clark deserves better than this. Subscribe if you want the truth on this league delivered straight, no hedging. Leaders lead, cowards look away. We'll see which one Kathy Engelbert is on Thursday. God bless, and I'll catch you next time.